Hi, welcome to this Blender video tutorial entitled Spin. Blender provides an edit mode modeling tool called Spin. The Spin tool extrudes a sub-object selection about a pivot point in a variable number of intermediate steps. To demonstrate the Spin tool, I've placed a circle object in my Blender scene. We're looking at the circle object in top view. I'll switch to front view and rotate the circle object 90 degrees on its x-axis so that it appears straight on in front view. Here I will tab into Edit mode and select all of the vertices. I will then switch to top view. I'll place my 3D cursor to the right of the circle object like this. Now the Spin tool extrudes a selection of vertices, like the selected vertices in my circle object, using the 3D cursor as the pivot point and around an axis that is perpendicular to the display view. Since I am now in top orthographic view, the axis perpendicular to my view is the z-axis. To execute the spin operation, I click on the Spin button located in the 3D Editor Viewport tool panel. As you can see, the Spin tool extruded the circle object vertices around the z-axis using my cursor as the pivot point. Now once the spin extrusion has been executed, the controls for the spin operation are displayed in the 3D Editor Viewport tool panel. By default, Blender spins the sub-object selection 90 degrees in 9 intermediate steps. Notice there are 9 sets of vertices plus the original set. We can increase or decrease the number of degrees. Here I will set the degrees to 360. We can also increase or decrease the number of intermediate steps. Here I will set the steps to 32. We can move the center point of the spin by adjusting the center controls. If we spin an object selection 360 degrees, it means that the last extrusion segment is placed on top of the original selection set. Now we can remove these duplicate vertices by first selecting all of the vertices. And by the way, note on the information editor header that this object has 1056 vertices and all of them are selected. Then press Ctrl V, which displays the vertex menu, and select Remove Doubles. Note now that there are only 1024 vertices in this object. I'll tab out of Edit mode. Note that once I leave Edit mode, I no longer have access to the spin controls. I'll switch to Layer 2 and go to Front View. And I'll select this object and tab into Edit mode. The Spin tool is sometimes referred to as a lathe tool, in that it is frequently used to lathe a cross-section shape 360 degrees. Here's a cross-sectional shape of a martini glass. Note that the shape is not a closed shape, and the outline provides for the thickness of the glass at the top and bottom. We are looking at the shape in front view, so I'll switch to top view. I'll place my cursor here in line with the x-axis of the shape and quite close to the vertices. I'll then press the Spin button. The shape is extruded around the z-axis 90 degrees in 9 steps. I'll increase the degrees to 360, and I'll increase the steps to 64. I'll then select all of the vertices, press Ctrl V, and remove the doubles.